Welcome to my WOW Chats, Words of Wisdom, with people that I admire, I respect, and whose work is in line with making this world a better place. Ben Cormack, welcome. Wow, words.
We're going for hugs. We're going to go for hugs.
Is that okay?
Of course.
I asked you first? Okay.
I mean, you should have asked, but it's fine.
Okay, so Words of Wisdom. We're at the San Diego Pain Summit, and I just listened to Ben's talk. It was so good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, really, you're such a great speaker. Your messages are so clear, and you talked a lot about the biopsychosocial model. So Ben's talk was really on person or patient-centered care. And what I really liked is when you were talking about this, biopsychosocial model or approach, you were saying, do we sometimes misuse it? And do we maybe sometimes, are we using it within a biomedical lens? And are we actually using the biopsychosocial approach as treating the condition and the pain versus using the biopsychosocial approach to treat or serve the person who has the pain or the condition. So can you speak to that and give us some...
So this is something that I've been kind of talking about for quite a while now. For me, the more you read in this area, I think the more you find that the biopsychosocial model or framework or whatever, I don't really care what we call it, because I think a lot of people who are discussing these things haven't read that deeply into it. And I think that we should really understand that it's not so much a treatment model, it's more what we might describe as a philosophy of care. And so obviously philosophy is about thinking, and it's about thinking about how we're working with this person in front of us to make their experience better. So we talk about pain as an experience, right? So we're talking about it more than just how it feels. But from the same perspective, we are applying lots of what we do in terms of treatment or what we do in terms of interaction back to the sensation and back to, so we're giving with one hand but taking away with another almost. And I think we just get a little confused about what it is. Now, I think one of the major reasons behind that is that we have a current paradigm of how we should work with people, how we should treat people, etc. And that's obviously built at things like societal levels. So they come to see physios or chiros or osteos or what have you to kind of, have their pain taken away, right? And I think within this concept and system that we have, maybe what we've done is we've taken this model of care that asked for a paradigm change.
Right.
And what we've done is we've applied it in a way that hasn't changed the paradigm. It's just fitted in with our paradigm,
That's what you had said so eloquently.
Yeah. So, and I don't blame people. I mean, who cares what I say anyway? But I don't, I think the point is that it's above all of our pay grades. In terms of this is the biopsychosocial model in essence, is that these are societal things. So people have societal ideas about what pain is. People have societal ideas about what treatment is. They have a societal idea about what they're going to get from a physio, right? And these things are bigger than all of us, and they impact very much on how we interact with people, what they believe, what they want to do, what they want from us, and I think we need to appreciate those things, and we need to understand that it's bigger. But maybe just, we've fitted into our model the fact that, now, I'm not just going to treat your upslip, we're going to treat your sleep, or we're going to treat this. And this is not a bad thing to do, but it's maybe an interesting interpretation of what the paradigm change was.
Yeah. So what advice would you give the clinician who's like, okay, I kind of get that. So what's a tangible piece of advice? So how do you use this biopsychosocial framework, like more as a framework and a philosophy?
I think that's the great way. So we are, when I'm sitting down with, let's say you come in to see me, and I'm sitting down and I'm trying to get a read of you as a person. I want to know a little bit more about you. I want to know the person behind the problem. And I think that's important for things like therapeutic relationship, etc. But again, it's how do we interact? What do we talk about? I'm appreciating where your belief structure comes from. So the idea that we challenge patient beliefs and they're wrong beliefs and we've got to fix them. Well, these beliefs are deep, right? So, when you appreciate the size of the problem, maybe your expectations change, and maybe the way you approach the problem changes. because now I'm not here to restructure really quickly your wrong belief. Actually, maybe I'm going to appreciate this is a long held thing. How can I work with it? How can I work with you?
Yeah. So really just looking at the person, and what I see a lot is just communicating like you would with another human being that you meet, and you're trying to communicate and get on the same page. Like it's just you're getting to know. Let's get to know another human being, and how can you help them navigate what they value and what they want to get to? And
I call it like being in the pub. So for me, the clinical encounter is not that different from the pub. So you're going to meet a guy in the pub, we're drinking, you know, some people ain't going to want to talk. They don't want to talk very much. Other people want to talk about politics. Other people want to talk about sport, right? And so you have to navigate these environments, and you have to be able to be a bit of a chameleon in terms of what you're doing and what you're talking about, the levels that you're pitching at, how deeply you go at it. But it's two human beings talking. And sometimes the therapeutic relationship is one where there's a hierarchy. There's kind of, I'm the expert, you're the, you know, you're the recipient. I've got the right stuff, and you need to be, your ideas need to change. And, you know, and actually sometimes clinicians, their ideas aren't as good. Sometimes, you know, we're not self-calibrating. We're not self-aware. And they're psychosocial factors, right?
Yeah. Okay, so then that's the PUB approach, the pub approach.
The pub approach,
there
absolutely.
Go. Words of wisdom, you heard it here.
The therapy pub. But, you know, I think that it's important to still be professional, but also important to understand that there sometimes needs to be a basic connection.
Yeah. Well, we have so much research, right, surrounding the value of trusting the therapeutic alliance, and so we can go about that very different ways. But
I think that's if you are looking at it from a hard, strict, positivist, measuring, you know, objective stance, these things don't matter because that's not what we're here to get serious medical objective information. That is not pain. Pain, that's not pain. That's not what it does. That's not how it works. You know, it can never be an objective experience. How can I ever measure your pain? We can measure maybe behaviours around pain. We can measure how you interpret it and tell me. But I can never truly be in any way objective about that because I can only ever take what you tell me. But do we have to be objective? You know, that's again this idea that science is important and science is hugely important, but have we worked out a good way of capturing everything yet? Right. Or have we lost a little bit in translation? You know, in my presentation, Neil O'Connell was asking me about does it improve outcomes? And it's depending on what you're measuring.
Yeah, that was a good...
So, it might not improve someone's pain, but it might improve their journey in healthcare. And that would be a seriously important aspect, right? You know, it might be that nothing else would improve their pain either. So what would be the best thing that we could affect? Their journey. You know.
And I like some of the qualitative research, you know, and just gathering patient stories, and then finding a way to measure, you know, to scale the stories even. Like you gather some of the commonalities from the stories, and then like that's really cool.
What are these common threads? Do you see what I mean? And if enough people are saying it, then it must be important.
Right.
So we know that people want to have an active say. They want to make shared decisions. They want to be, you know, they want to learn things. They want to have their say because they want to be part and parcel of the process. Why would you not? It's you. You know, I'd want to be, you know, so I think sometimes, you know, when people have pain for a long time, I think they can feel a little useless sometimes. That they don't have that place in society. They're not an active contributor. And if we went back to, you know, some of the early kind of psychiatry work and things like that, like I've forgotten the guy's name, the search, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. And understanding that people have a sense of, they need a sense of worth. They need an active role in society. And, you know, by bringing people in to be an active part of therapy, I hope we are in some way empowering that aspect, you know. And I think that this all, as I'm talking about this, you know, it kind of feels really odd sometimes with this evidence-based medicine approach that I also take. And I think we need to somehow kind of calibrate or kind of reconcile this kind of more philosophical approach with this kind of more scientific, measurable approach. And I don't know how to do that.
Well, they come together, like it's the yes and.
Yeah.
They come together, and that's what Corey Blickenstuff was talking
Yeah.
about, phenomenology.
Yeah, yes,
Like,
absolutely.
So, like, yeah, okay, that's awesome.
Cool.
Thank you. Words of wisdom, Ben Cormack.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much wisdom.
It was, and I'll leave all of Ben's links below. I didn't really introduce you as to who you were, but he's just, for those of you that may not know him, you're a phenomenal continuing education provider, clinician. I will say you are one of the leaders and pioneers in this field of whole person centered care. Oh wait, although what I loved. It was your talk today when you were talking about we've been talking about these same issues for years and centuries. And was that your talk?
Yeah,
for centuries.
Yeah.
So can you actually say something, because
I nearly got away.
I know, because that was humbling, because it was like, you're like, you know what, we've been talking about these same things for centuries, and I don't know.
So look, I mean, I think that we are currently having lots of debates about pain, what it is, what how it works, and all these things, and in the world of Instagram posts and Facebook posts and things that I do, I think we also need that deeper knowledge base. And so you go back and you read, McMahon, you read Pat Wall, you read original Melzack work, and you actually see that there's these same debates about what is pain. Is it a sensation? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other? These have been had forever.
Yeah.
And in fact, sometimes these debates have gone further than they've gone at the moment. The kind of understanding pain from an evolutionary perspective. That's a Victorian view.
Yes.
And so actually sometimes we're just going over old stuff, but we just haven't read enough. And so always remember, I think, that everything we say has been said by someone before who was smarter than us.
Words of wisdom, that's it, the humility.
All right, we're going to go for a hug. Oh,
thank you.
There we go.
Thanks for watching this WOW chat with Ben Cormack. Check out his website, corekinetic.com. He's got a lot of resources, online courses and content, articles, videos, podcasts, on-site courses, and check out some of my other WOW chats with other people whose work is in line with making this world a better place.